What's up guys, NOVAxDRAGON here, and today I'm bringing you a look at one of my favorite single-player campaigns in any first-person shooter ever, and that is Homefront. So I just want to make a quick disclaimer. There will be some graphic content, so if you're familiar with this game, you know what that means. If you're not, there will be potentially some disturbing footage in the first couple minutes. This is probably, well, in the end it turns out to be about 10 minutes of gameplay, but it's actually about 15 because I speed it up in some parts because I just run around trying to find ammo and stuff like that. But there are some disturbing scenes, so if you think you're going to be easily offended, you might want to just turn it off now. This has nothing to do with my commentary, but I like to protect those who do not want to see certain things. With that said, I also have to say that Homefront, again, is essentially my favorite single-player FPS campaign I've ever played. It's just so integrative. You know, if you play it straight through, you just feel like you're a part of it. And I know that in some of my Battlefield 3 videos I say, oh, you have to pretend like it's real. It's kind of hard to not pretend like it's real when you're playing Homefront, at least if you live in the United States. I don't know, it'd be interesting to see what foreigners, that would be people living outside of the United States, think about this game. But the background, which you can probably view on YouTube as just look up Homefront intro video or something like that. And it's pretty interesting, and you know, it's actually kind of surprising, but some of those things are almost happening, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. The gameplay, it just draws you in and it keeps you there. So essentially, North Korea, who then took over South Korea, so kind of Korea, invaded America. And these are Korean soldiers that you see right here in front of us. And they are putting us in prison and work camps. I mean, we don't want that to happen, but it's a pretty interesting gameplay idea, because a lot of the time we're the ones, you know, protecting the innocent, but here we're the innocents, and it's kind of nice to see that change. And I think that's one reason why it gets you so emotionally involved in the game. Now, one of the drawbacks from Homefront was its lack of really good multiplayer features. Now, I had a fun time playing Homefront online back when I was on the PS3. I don't know if it was a console thing versus a PC thing. I'm not terribly familiar with the controversy about it. I had fun. It wasn't as fun as Call of Duty or Battlefield, but I didn't really expect it to be either. But there is some hope. So this game was made by THQ, and we know that in their recent financial situation that they are no longer producing games. But Homefront, the franchise, has actually been bought by Crytek, who was one of the co-developers of Homefront. So the franchise should continue, probably not by the end of 2013, but hopefully sometime in 2014 we will see a new Homefront game, probably Homefront 2. I'm not really sure what the storyline will be, but there is, I guess, room for a sequel because, well, I'm not going to give away the ending, so you'll just have to play the game if you want to know about the ending. But anyway, I'm looking forward to that. I think it should be a good game. It's just a fun game to play, and I have enjoyed it greatly. And here's an interesting little tidbit for you guys. This is actually running the same physics engine. It's the Cry engine. It's the same physics engine as Far Cry. So if you're familiar with that franchise, you know that it's not perfect, but it also creates a situation or an environment that's fun to play in. So that's something to keep in mind as well. A little bit more of the story, because you just saw that the bus that I was traveling on just got hit by the cab of a semi-truck. So the Koreans have invaded the United States, and right now we are in Colorado, and these lovely people who are walking through this bus stabbing all of the Koreans are part of the resistance. You used to be a pilot, and so they need you to bring fuel to the front lines. the U.S. Army is trying to make a comeback, mobilizing toward San Francisco. And there they will make their pushback at the Koreans. Now, as far as the replayability goes, I don't necessarily know how many hours of gameplay you will get out of this game. You can probably beat the campaign from somewhere between 4 to 20 hours, depending on how good you are and how quickly you do the missions and things like that. What difficulty you're playing on actually plays a really big role, like with most shooters. Now, the multiplayer, there are not very many people who play this anymore online. I'm sure you can find some, you know, like with any game, there are still people who are playing other games that you think they're still playing that game online. Yeah, they are. People get hooked on a game and then they just want to keep playing it. But since there are so many FPS games on the market, you might even call it almost saturated. It's hard to find an older FPS game that still has a community of players that get involved, and this is not one of those games. So I'm not necessarily saying that you guys need to rush out real quick and buy this game, but if you've never checked out the campaign and you can find it on sale, you can actually probably find it in most GameStops if you are on a console, or Steam sales are great and Homefront is often included in those. You can get it for like 75% off, which puts it down to a pretty good deal. I actually got it in the THQ bundle when they were having that over the winter sale, so that's cool. But all together, it's a fun campaign. It's a little linear, so obviously fire, you know, as you see, can disrupt where you go and stuff like that. But essence of this game is that you are trying to win back America, and this is a concept which I love, and I think they did it in a very, very good way. It was actually, the script or the storyline was actually written by the author of the Red Dawn series, so I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with that. I haven't read them, but I've heard good things, and after playing this game, I can assume that those good things will continue. Alright, I don't have too much more to talk about, because this is really just it's kind of an intro video. It's also kind of just a, hey, this game still exists kind of video. And it's not always easy to find a game that you'd like to come back to the campaign on and play it again. But I've actually found that playing this through multiple times is still fun. The linear nature does kind of make it less fun, but I think there's still fun to be had playing this game. So like I said, I'm not saying that you guys should all go out and buy this because it's an old game. But if you have a bored afternoon, or if you lose internet for a while, this is a great game to bust out and blow the dust off. You might have not given it a fair chance when you first tried it, or maybe you tried it and you liked it, but you haven't played it in a while. It's fun going back to. It's not one of those games where you're just going to play it nonstop for months at a time. But every now and then, if you just want to go back to something that you know is just going to be fun or get you involved in, I would highly recommend this game. A little bit of news. I doubt any of you are still listening to this video, but if you are, I am trying to assemble some Company 008 support for starting a Dota, or Defense of the Ancients, run through. I guess I'm kind of spearheading it because I'm really the only one who really wants to play it, or at least has shown interest in setting something up. So I don't know if we get good enough, maybe we'll switch to competitive. If not, we'll see what happens. But I hope that if you guys do hear this, send me a message if you want to play with us. If you don't know how to play, that is not a problem. We're going to be doing a lot of training against pretty ridiculously easy bots, because that's really the best way to learn how to play the game, is just to literally play the game. So I hope that there are a few people who have made it this far, and I hope that you will message me about that, because I would like to get that started. That's about all I have to say. Thanks for watching, and have a great week.